Life is a misery, and then you die. If that line hits you like, yeah, that's my brain on a Tuesday, you're not too negative. You're noticing a loop that never really stops. The modern version looks polite. You build a new system, a new planner, a new stack of habits, because you want to feel better first. But nothing ships, and you end the week with cleaner dashboards and the same low-grade dread. So let's use the bleak frame for something useful. A protocol that still produces output when you feel bad. There's one move that flips pessimism from a trap into fuel, and we'll land it in a minute. Schopenhauer wasn't selling despair. He was pointing at a mechanism. The mechanism is simple. Wanting doesn't stop. You get the thing you wanted. The pressure drops for a second, and then the next want loads in like it was cued the whole time. Relief is real, but it's brief, and your brain treats that brief relief as proof that chasing the next fix is the plan. Now map that onto your day, and it gets painfully normal. You clear the inbox, and 5 new threads appear. You close a tab and open 3 more. You research until you feel smart. Then you tweak until you feel safe. And somehow, you still end the night with that same empty, unfinished feeling. When you hear life is misery, you tend to pick one of 2 bad responses. The first is denial mode. You treat discomfort like a bug to delete. You chase highs, you buy tools, you add goals, you stack more inputs, and you call it ambition, even though the real goal is to never sit in the plain, flat feeling of work. The second is collapse mode. You decide nothing matters, so you drift. You stall with a straight face and call it realism. You keep your standards high and your actions small, because if you never commit, you never have to watch a real result prove you wrong. Both responses share the same flaw. They assume you should only move when you feel good. The useful response is colder, and it works better. You install constraints that assume life feels a bit bad sometimes, and you build a system that runs anyway. Start with a decision gate. One condition that ends thinking and starts building. Not a mood check. Not a do I feel aligned. A simple rule like, once I have 3 sources, I draft, or once I have an outline, I record, or once it's correct, I send it. Then you pair that with minimum viable output, not minimum viable planning. Output. Something you can finish even when you don't feel like you believe in it. A 1-page memo. A rough cut. A submit button. A published post that isn't your identity. Now we take that and make it practical with a misery budget. Pick the smallest deliverable that counts as real. Send. Thin wall. Ship. Die. Publish. Submit. Dot. If it can't leave your desk, it isn't a deliverable, it's a comfort object. Set a discomfort threshold. You're allowed to feel bad, bored, or annoyed. You're not allowed to change the plan because of it. The threshold isn't I feel great. The threshold is I can still do the next step. Time box the loop, not the work. Cap research. Cap options. Cap edits. The rule is not work for 2 hours. The rule is research for 20 minutes. Then decide, because the loop lives in the open-ended part. And pre-commit the next action for when you get stuck. One boring step, chosen in advance, that you can do without debate. Open the file and write the next sentence. Cut the first 10 seconds of the video. Rename the headings. Send the calendar invite. Boring is the point. You've seen this pattern. You're writing, it gets hard. and suddenly a new app looks urgent. You install it, you set it up, you color code it, and the app becomes the project because setup feels like progress without risk. So reframe pessimism as data. Discomfort doesn't mean you picked the wrong path. A lot of the time it means you hit load-bearing work, the part that actually produces something. And that open loop from the start, the one move is this: treat mood as noise and constraints as signal. Once you stop negotiating with your mood, you can actually use the bleak truth. Life can feel like a grind, so your system has to work even when you feel nothing. If you want the full Decision Gate template and the misery budget checklist, grab it from the description and use it on your current project today. Subscribe if you want the next one, because we're going into the restart cycle, why you keep starting fresh, and the one rule that makes restarting cost something.